Welcome back, everybody. It's time for a Merlin update, and we really haven't covered too much on this engine, but it's a major aspect of what we're doing in the shop, although nothing to do with directly with the Typhoon build. The intent behind this is ultimately that we're building a trailer-mounted ground-running Rolls-Royce Merlin engine. Basically, the engine wasn't complete when we got it. It was unknown condition internally, unknown hours, no logbooks, any of that stuff. It was quite a bit of work at the get-go because we didn't know what we had, so we just started disassembling it piece by piece until we could identify exactly what was going on. And much to our surprise, I think the reduction gear was one of the real keys.
Yeah, it was perfect inside there. We didn't really take that apart, but yeah, really, the gears look like they're brand new, and the reduction gears in there.
Rob, do you want to take us through maybe some of the stuff from start to finish? I think we started at the front end.
Yeah, I was going to say, what we did was put a bore scope in all the cylinders and made sure everything was good. The valves and everything was like with that original preservative they did back in the 40s. It's just like coal tar. It actually is tar preservative. So we've done the bottom end. We took the valve, or the main pan is off right now. This good look inside. Bearings and everything are all brand new. Just this engine must have had a rod thrown in when it was in the air. There's some dents in the oil pan, not in the oil pan, but the windage tray that's inside. So they've replaced everything inside. It's basically a brand new engine. We were really lucky to find that. And it was well preserved. This stuff is just a bear to get off here. It's so black. Our hands were just, it was really bad. But so we were lucky that way. We've looked in all the cylinders. Everything's clean. The valves are good. And what the problem with the Valvetrain was both camshafts were just kind of scrap iron. Yeah. The engine sat close to the wall in the shed where it was, and with the hot sun and cold of the nights, all the moisture condensed inside the valve covers, and the cams were literally destroyed. The lobes were pretty well gone. One camshaft is ready to go back in. The other one we're just waiting for is one of the end spacers that keeps the camshaft lobes spaced over top of the valves here. So that's what we've been doing, cleaning this up, getting ready to put both the camshaft rack back in and time it. Here's what the Valvetrain looks like. If I can get it on the stud. Are we close enough?
Yep.
Yeah, well, I can just hold it like that. Right? So that's what you're looking at there. That's this is the main camshaft right here. So you can see that turning, and then there's two lobes on each one of the cylinders. You see how far apart these are. So these two lobes do the intake, and the two lobes on the end do the exhaust. These are the exhaust valves on this side here. This gear train here, these gears, actually this is the one that drives the camshaft from the bottom, but these ones actually drive vacuum pumps and air pumps, air compressors off the back into the engine here too. So it's quite a complicated system. The only thing that was left on the Supercharger was the front half. They had split it in half and just left the back end of the cover bolted to the end of the crankshaft there. So this is the Supercharger where we took it all apart. It had green gunge in it from back in the 40s. It was old avgas. So cleaned it all out really good and reset all the anemometers inside and got that all ready to go. So then it blows air. We spun her up and she puts out lots of air volume. So yeah, the other problem was that when we got the Supercharger, there was no elbow. So now we found an elbow on the connecting piece here to join it together. So it's just one step at a time. This one, I had to take this magneto back off. It was on here, but it's just for show. Basically, there's a whole bunch of bolts in behind the magneto. You can't get your hand in there to work on it. So everything else, we've had the fuel pump apart, we've had the water pump apart, and those pieces are all painted up, ready to go to be put back on. And so We've left the main pan off because we want to flush it now with hot oil to flush all the rest of the preservative out of the crankcase, and just to make sure that all the camshafts are free so the oil can flow through and lubricate all the valves.
Nobody here has really ripped apart a whole bunch of Merlins in the past and put them back together, so there's a lot of learning to do, and quite thankfully Rob really bites into things, and he'll if we need to understand something as complex as the supercharger or carburetor, Rob digs into it, figures it out, and can come back a day later and explain everything about it. And it's amazing to see, it's amazing to hear, and it's really the only way that this project was able to happen here. But it doesn't mean that it's happened easily, because not only have parts been issues, but being an early Merlin 3, this is all British Whitworth thread tooling, and I think that's one of the bigger complications that we've had, is just dealing with that kind of stuff. And what are your thoughts on that one, Rob?
Well, it's pretty interesting because this whole engine is pretty well built with all 1/4-inch studs on everything, all these valve cover studs, and pretty well everything is like. But it takes about 8 different wrenches to fit all the different nuts that go on here.
One nut will fit one wrench better than the other one.
That's crazy. Really crazy, yeah. Sort of thing, yeah.
It's impressive the patience that you need. It would be. There's been a couple things that come out about just thoughts of doing some of the maintenance on these in the field. The patience that those guys must have needed.
I cannot see them servicing these in the field, which they did, because it's such a well-machined engines that the fits and tolerances on this thing are not conducive to actually doing field repairs.
From what I understand, they were all hand fit to engines as well, or at least early on.
Yeah.
So the part might not fit between 2 engines, so you have to find the one part that you need that fits the engine that you have. So you might go through a pile of them, and that's not a luxury that we have in 2021.
The parts that they had to keep available to keep these engines in the air were spectacular, really, when you think about it. And some of the engineering and designs, the drawing and the machining, you're just like, you shake your head at how the heck did they do that? How did they really do that? You know, because these were designed and first built in 37, wasn't it?
I think so, yeah.
The first one ran. So like, it's just incredible. It's a piece of art, really, when you think about it. It's not an engine, it's a work of art to actually get the power and everything that they do out of this engine. So.
There's still a couple issues to sort out. Our propeller is one of them. We had, and I'm sure you've seen it in some of the videos or in the still photos that I've shared on social media, we had the spider, the prop spider on this, which is a special spline. It's a SBAC 50 spline, so it's a British spline, which is different than what a Packard Merlin would have on it. So we're actually using a Hamilton standard propeller, which is a 23E50 standard for North America, but it's a 23EX, which is a foreign spline, which is in fact this SBAC 50 spline that's on there. And we do have one, but it's the corrosion on it's too far, so we're now looking for another one at the time of filming. If anybody watches this and has one, hey, you know where we are. But we've already made an arrangement with a propeller company, Western Propeller in Richmond, British Columbia, and they're volunteering their time to help assemble this prop once we get our end of the deal done with that spider. And they're going to deliver it out here, and we'll run the engine with their very professionally produced propeller. So that's part of the aspects of the project that we're still working on. The other one, I may have shared some pictures, or you may have seen them just recently. Since Rob's been able to mount the new supercharger to the back, we're starting to get to the point where we need to fit systems to this engine, and to do that we need to have it mounted on the trailer, which is another thing that I've been building slowly in the background in the shop here. So just recently we fitted it. We got some measurements off of it just before we started filming today.
Before we did this,
And I'll build the last little bit of mount for this, and we can start looking at systems and plumbing and all that good stuff.
Should have took a video of us trying to get it off the trailer.
No.
That would have been really good.
No, I get comments about file handles and safety gear all the time. Showing what we did to get this off of that trailer would not be a good thing.
My version of the Keystone Cops is what it looked like. But we got it. It's sitting there. That's good.
Some tense moments, we'll just say that.
All right.
All right, well, thanks for watching, everybody. I hope that answered some questions about what we're doing with the Merlin in the shop anyway. And I hope you learned something from Rod, because I know I do every day. We'll definitely update you when we do timing, when we get the timing, so that should be fairly soon actually, as well as when we start getting closer to the end of fitting systems. I'll try and get some video as we work through that process, but it's all coming up in the near future, so we'll keep you up to date and hopefully get this thing spitting a little bit of fire fairly soon. So until next time, guys, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's absolutely free, but it does wonderful stuff for us. And if you can, if you're able to, we've got the paid channel, and if you can subscribe to that, it's only a few dollars every month, and it helps us out an incredible amount. With all the little things that we've been putting in this, with the airframe side, it's absolutely wonderful, and it's made possible by all of you guys that either subscribe to YouTube, subscribe to our paid channel, or follow us and donate to the project. So thank you so much. If you can help, please do. Until next time, we'll keep plugging away in the shop, and we'll get some more videos out your way. Thank you so much for watching.
All right, see you soon, guys. Thanks.
Take care.